work on now is teaching Calvin how to come to a word other than the word come. By the time a lot of my clients' dogs come to me, they're not responding well to come, and there's something called learned irrelevance. And what that means is if you continue to repeat commands, nag, come, 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 what happens is the dog learns to tune that information out. If you imagine that dogs only have so much bandwidth to process language, our language, and they're constantly picking out words that have relevancy to them, such as cookie or dinner or par or walk, those kinds of things that have been conditioned for the dogs to respond to them. And what I mean by that is when you say walk, usually you produce a leash and immediately the dog goes outside for a walk. So the dogs have learned to respond to the side of the leash because they know that that predicts that good things are going to happen. If they like to go on walks. If they don't like going on walks, then you're going to get a completely different kind of response. So what we try and do is teach the skill first and then teach them the information or the word for that particular skill second. So yesterday I worked on teaching him how to lie down, and I didn't introduce the word down until he was pretty reliably lying down for me. So I'm going to do something called conditioning an emotional response to the word here as opposed to come. I'm going to start training him how to come when he's called from scratch. What I need is a word that actually gets him to respond to me right away by orienting to me. Because if you say come and your dog completely ignores you and all you see is the butt disappearing down the beach, that dog is probably not going to come to you. So what I want to see is when I say come to a dog, I want that dog to immediately whip around to see what's happening. Because if the dog's paying attention to me, there's a good chance that he's going to come to me. So I'm going to start conditioning the word here with him. That's going to be his new recall word. Trainers call coming when called recall. So this is how I do it. At least 25 times a day. Here. I just say the word here. And I give him something yummy. Here. What you should start to see over a period of time here is that the dog responds to that word here by brightening up. Here. By wagging his tail or pricking his ears forward. Here. Looking at you. But it's not required. This exercise here is completely without goals. Here, actually that's not entirely true. The goal is to teach him to really love that word so that when I say it in the future, when I'm really using this for his recall, here, I'm going to get the kind of response that I would want to get from a dog who I've just called to come to me. Here. Here. And I'm going to stop. That's it. That's all I do over the course of the first week with little puppies and with adult dogs. If I'm starting to teach come from scratch with a dog that has lost the ability to come when he's called, I'm gonna just use that word for this particular exercise. No strings attached. Dog doesn't have to do anything for it. It's, again, if you take the example of the leash, when you produce the leash, the dog doesn't have to do anything for the leash. He just has learned that the side of that leash predicts that he's going to go for a walk. I want the word here to predict that good things happen. So down the road, I'm going to get this orientation to me. Not 100% of the time, because that rarely ever happens even with us, but 98.2% of the time. I want to be able to say here down the road and have him orient to me right away.